Hey everyone! Did CD Projekt Red just secretly reveal when The Witcher 1 remake is actually coming out? Because after their latest financial report, things suddenly got very interesting. Today we are breaking down everything you need to know about the remake's development, how it ties into The Witcher 4, why the teams were merged, and what that might mean for release dates. But more importantly, we are diving into the biggest questions fans are arguing about right now. Will the remake stay true to the original story, or finally fix the parts that never made sense in the first place? And trust me, by the end of this video you'll have a completely different perspective on what CDPR might be planning. And hey, if you love The Witcher as much as I do, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive. So get comfortable, grab a drink, and let's jump straight into it. Let's get started. In one of their latest financial reports, CD Projekt Red confirmed that development on The Witcher 1 remake is still underway. What's more, during the presentation it was revealed that the remake is being developed in parallel with The Witcher 4. So right now it's tough to say which one will launch first. But considering that The Witcher 4, as the studio stated back in June of 2025, is still in the very early stages of production, while the remake has already been in full development for a while, there's a good chance CDPR wants to drop it in fall 2027, right on the game's 20th anniversary. It would be pretty symbolic. And as for The Witcher 4, even the devs themselves admit it's not coming out before 2028. However, there's another detail working against the remake. CDPR CEO Michael Novakovsky explained that the team working on the remake has been temporarily merged with the core Witcher 4 team. According to him, this will let them create the tools and pipelines needed to speed up production of the remake later on. The remake is being handled by the Polish studio Full Theory, but due to the tech-heavy setup, that smaller team is currently helping CDPR with Polaris, the code name for Witcher 4. Previously, CD Projekt Red stated that the remake will be built on Unreal Engine 5. They also mentioned that a massive amount of engine customization is happening right now to properly adapt Unreal Engine 5 for large-scale open-world RPGs. That obviously affects not only The Witcher 4 but the remake as well. And speaking of milestones, on October 26, the first Witcher turned 18 years old. To celebrate, CDPR posted a cheeky message saying, "The Witcher is officially 18 plus now, and we are not talking about the age rating." Fans remembering their first adventures in Temeria used the anniversary to bring up the remake again. Many pointed out that the original game stood out for its detective-style storytelling and grounded, gritty atmosphere. And of course, people couldn't help but ask, where are the new materials? Where's at least something about the remake? But CDPR has stayed silent. According to some of the so-called official rumors, the studio plans to show the remake only shortly before The Witcher 4's release to keep the surprise factor. One of the biggest fan questions is whether the team will keep the original story intact or tweak a few things. Nobody expects major plot rewrites, but players often bring up one storyline that was handled awkwardly in the first game, especially when viewed through the full context of the trilogy and the books. This is especially relevant today, since many modern players entered the franchise through The Witcher 3. A lot of people mentioned the absence of a whole Geralt-Yennefer-Triss dynamic, as well as Ciri, who later became one of the central characters of the saga. It's important to remember that Geralt started the first game with amnesia, and the player rediscovers the world with him. Old friends show up, but their conversations barely explain his connection to Yennefer. And given Triss' personality and motives, it's not surprising that she avoids mentioning Yen or Ciri, but it is weird that none of Geralt's other friends bring them up either. Instead, one of the trilogy's most important backstories is delivered by a random innkeeper in the village of Murky Waters. Not the best choice for such crucial lore. Back in May, the developers said they choose to leave Ciri and Yen out of the original game's narrative because introducing them too early would have been wasteful. But fans are wondering whether the remake might at least acknowledge them. Not by giving them roles, just by adjusting some dialogue so new players aren't confused by the total absence of characters they know from Wild Hunt. Given how popular the franchise has become, it's pretty much guaranteed the remake will attract more players than the 2007 original. So it makes sense for CDPR hard to modernize the story presentation without breaking the plot. And since we are talking about the original, one of the devs secretly revealed the secret behind the game's infamous combat system. The lead writer admitted that the team intentionally designed the fights so players could battle with one hand while holding a beer in the other. The rhythmic clicking wasn't an accident, it was meant to make the combat casual. You play with your right hand, he said, and drink with your left. Well, that certainly explains a lot. Now let's take a look at how a potential remake could look. The map, UI, inventory and signs. This concept isn't new, it's about 2 years old. But honestly, every time I see these images, they just hit that perfect nostalgic vibe. Clean, atmospheric, authentic. Pretty much the ideal UI. The only thing that I'd change is the color grading. Make it a bit darker and grimier, closer to the tone of the first game, not The Witcher 3. These screenshots were created by senior UI designer Orvidas Bzdekis, who shared his personal vision of what The Witcher 1 remake could be. Personally, I think CDPR is aiming for the perfect middle ground. I believe they'll keep the soul, the atmosphere, the gritty tone of the first game, but they'll also enrich it. Sharper lore connections, more neutral references to Yennefer, trees and Ciri, maybe a few expanded scenes that make Geralt's journey feel more cohesive. Not a rewrite, just the version of the story that always should have been there. And if we look into the future, who knows, maybe this remake will become the foundation for a fully unified Witcher timeline, where each new entry ties into the next, where Polaris and the other upcoming projects subtly connect, and where Geralt's story finally gets a smooth, fully fleshed out arc. Some fan theories even suggest the remake could sneak in early teasers for Witcher 4, hidden dialogue, mention of new factions, or fresh hints about the School of the Wolf. Will that happen? We'll have to wait and see. But the direction CDPR is taking definitely feels promising. Do you think the remake should stay loyal to the original, or should CDPR make bold adjustments to straighten the overall story? And what would you personally want to see in a modern remake of The Witcher 1? Drop your thoughts in the comments, can't wait to read them. Thanks for watching. For more updates on The Witcher 1 remake or other gaming content, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until then, stay safe.